Notarization. Hey, you've heard about it. You may have had something notarized yourself. You've probably seen a little sign saying notary here. What exactly is a notary under American law? Well, under American law, a notary is someone who obtains a certificate from the state in which they practice that allows them to notarize signatures. And by that, we mean that someone appears before a notary, provides them with identifying information. The notary verifies that the individual before them is the person who they have identification for, and that person who then signs the document is given a notary certification that says that signature is in fact the signature of the person who made an appearance, whether it's John Smith or whether it's Deborah Johnson. Well, in this web-based world in which we exist, the state of Virginia has begun doing something that is very different, very unusual. Needless to say, normally when you go to a notary, you have to appear in person and provide them with identification, and usually some form of a photo identification, which often is a driver's license. Virginia is now allowing notarization to take place by a webcam. By a webcam, that's right. Someone can appear before a notary on a webcam, submit a document to them via fax or via email that they sign on the webcam, or that they sign while appearing on the webcam, and the notary can now sign that document with a notary certification indicating it's actually the person who did appear. Well, needless to say, there's a big concern: can fraud take place? Is it really John Smith? Is it really Deborah Johnson who's making an appearance here? In order to deal with that, the system that exists in Virginia is one in which the notary gets a social security number from the person who is appearing. That person then has their identity checked. The notary sends it to a service that basically is an identity verification service. In addition, that identity verification service has challenge response questions. What are challenge response questions? They are questions that only that person who is appearing via webcam would know. Questions basically dealing with their financial situation, or other questions in terms of their relationship with parents or whatever else that only that person would really know. If that person can then answer these questions, these challenge response questions, properly, and showing that they in fact are the person who's appearing via webcam, then that notary can notarize that document and indicate that that signature really is the signature of the person appearing via webcam. Okay, this is still somewhat controversial, and Virginia was the first state in the Union to allow this form of notarization. Since that happened, Montana has also adopted notarization via webcam. We'll see whether or not this is a trend that is beginning and will spread throughout the country. It certainly makes it a lot easier. You don't have to get into your car and drive someplace and find a notary. You can do it basically sitting at your desk at home utilizing a webcam. Now, one of the things that this also brings to mind, and just as a little bit of additional information, here in the United States, a notary is someone who all they do is verify that John Smith and Debbie Johnson showed up and signed the document. In other parts of the world, such as in continental countries in Europe that follow continental law, say France as an example, a notary there is a highly trained individual who is generally trained as a lawyer. And when you get something notarized there, it's a whole different ballgame, because there, when you get something notarized, the notary has to basically confirm that the document being signed, whether it's a contract, whether it's a deed, or whatever else, is in fact what it purports to be and does what it purports to do. That the contract is in fact a legitimate and verifiable contract that does what it says it's going to do, that the deed is in fact a true deed that will convey property if it in fact is used to convey property. Whole different ballgame, whole different ballgame. And that's why if you ever try and get something notarized in Europe, whoa, it's much more expensive, and it can sometimes take some period of time to get something notarized, because essentially that person is saying that document does what that document purports to do. Okay. We bring you this as we bring you cases and various discussions every week so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.